2, 1.
So now I've studied with Pepe Romero for many years, and it's time for me to go out into the world. And so at that time, this is probably 1979, I knew I needed to cut. I had done some tapes, but I needed to cut a debut album. I did so. And at that time, of course, it's on vinyl. It was just called Debut. I was very fortunate to have a wonderful engineer. Of course, that's my only, actually one of 2 analog albums. A lot of people don't know that I was one of the first people in the 90s, which is later years, that I was one of the first to record digitally. A lot of people didn't want to do that because the sound is cold, it's metallic, the analog is warmer sound. The great, shall we say, the great violinist, one of the great violinists of our time refused to record on digital, wouldn't even do the digital to disc thing because he thought it was too cold. So now I'm going to start that career, and it's, let's say, 79, 78, 80, and I'm sending out, I'm having, before I'm with many different agencies, and at that time, I was doing a lot of it myself until the 90s, and was sending out packages with full vinyl albums over to Europe, and I was starting to get known. And as time went on, I was invited, this is 84 now, as time went on, I was invited to come over because in Belgium, the great Empire Master Sound record label was going to publish my album in Europe. At that time, you had to take the master tapes over by hand. And if you didn't, to mail them, I go, oh yeah, really? I go, that's a little valuable to mail. Went over to Belgium, was in England as well. Went over to Belgium, got my record deal. Empire Master Sound was on the same label as the great jazz pianist George Shearing, the great violinist Yehudi Menuhin, and many other notables. And then after coming home, coming back to Orange County, we were sending out many packages with all the publicity materials, reviews. I started getting reviews on that album, big time reviews. Philadelphia Inquirer, America's leading classical guitarist, many big reviews from many, Sacramento Bee, I can remember. And then what happened? Well, now my career is starting to develop. And in the 90s, I'm starting to record because I'm starting to tour and doing gigs. I was fortunate enough to do gigs around the world in many exotic places, not just the North America and Europe as you would expect, but places like India, places like Barbados. Let me speak about Barbados for a minute. I represented the United States of America as America's musical ambassador, and what does that mean? It means that I was doing master classes, I was putting together a cultural exchange that the Barbadians and the Americans had not done.